And let me know you can hear me. And we're going to get started now. Welcome to the 10-Minute Trades Trade Room. And we're here to trade the 10-year notes. Thank you, Fred. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all trades are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully. If you're watching us on a live YouTube stream, I recommend not trading from streams because they can be slightly delayed. All right, we're going to get started. So let me explain what I'm trading and also what I'm looking at. So I'm looking at ultra bonds because I want to see if they are moving on the bond auctions. They did move very nicely on the 20-year bond auction that I tested last month. That's a report that we're just starting to trade. We haven't traded it very much yet. It's actually a fairly new report as reports go. They never used to, I don't think they had a 20-year bond, but definitely the report is fairly new, maybe 9 months or so. And it seems to be tradable. So let me just set the news up. So this is a report that, very honestly, years of experience has shown us the time that we want to trade it. It's a little bit unique in the time that we enter the trade. I'll show you the daily report. That was some crazy crude trade. I went back and looked at crude. It made what's really fascinating if you think about it. So crude then made another new low after the report. It eventually, I think it was about 7 minutes after the report, finally made a really good reversal between the new low it had made and the PP. And there was a great squeeze signal for it. It was about 7 minutes after the original news. But I'm still kind of shocked. I think that crude actually went positive eventually. Don't quote me on that. Check it, but it was a very interesting move. I mean, we haven't seen moves like that in quite a while. That was the norm for the way crude used to move. And I went back, folks, and I looked at the report. I looked at the move. That move was so fast that if you were trading the breakout, it might have filled you close to the bottom of the candle, which is something you don't always know unless you trade live. So it's not so easy sometimes to say, wow, that would have been an unbelievable winner because of the speed of the market. The market was very fast. So anyway, those are just some things to understand. That's all. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up. Nuggets of knowledge. There we go. That's a good title for an ebook. Nuggets of knowledge. Everything I learned trading the news. I'm good. Don't anybody out there try to steal that because I will sue. Both my kids are lawyers. It costs me nothing to sue. I can sue at the drop of a hat. In fact, my kids are just dying to sue somebody. They're dying. So do me a favor, steal it. I want you to steal it because I feel like suing somebody. I'm kidding. But anyway, I'll probably forget it anyway. If I don't write it down, I'm not going to remember. Excuse me. It's a good title for a video for the trade room. That's what it's good for. So here is the 10-year bond auction trade. Now, so look, now I have a problem with this, and I could get fired for this, and I'm just, I'm sorry. Small move in 60 seconds. Okay. That's a canceled trade, friends. 60 seconds is not a winner. It's a canceled trade. Our cancellation is 40 seconds, not 60. All right. If you're going to use a 60-second cancel, then it's a winner. Okay. The month before, it was canceled. So that's important because we have a cancel rule on this report. And I traded a report live this year. And because I didn't cancel it in time, I got stopped out and I lost money. And it was only 2 seconds. So if you have a cancellation rule, you have to follow it. There are exceptions, but if there's an exception, then you've got to tell people beforehand. Okay. You got to tell people beforehand. Like tomorrow's WASD report, I will not be canceling that trade. I don't cancel WASD because it has a history of filling late, especially with corn. So remember that. Write that down in your journal. Everybody should have a journal, right? It's important. But if you have a cancel rule, you got to follow it. And I might highlight this also. If you do not get filled by 210, cancel the order. Okay? You can't have it both ways. Now, this trade has been behaving nicely, so let's take a look. Is anybody out there besides Chantal and Fred? Anybody listening? Anybody going to trade? Anybody going to trade this? This is a report I will trade. Okay? The bond reports have been trading well. They have been trading well. 10-year, 7-year, 30-year, 20-year. I trade them. I'm going to trade them all. At one time, you've heard me tell this story. The bond reports were like ATM machines. Before I got here, years ago, literally people were making thousands of dollars on the bond reports. They were moving like I said, gigantic moves. That was like in 2014. And it's sort of legend. It's legendary, these stories that I hear about those reports. It's legendary. So let's see. The last 7-year note, the last 7-year note was November. But we're on 10 years, so forgive me. The last 10-year was the end of October. Oops, hold on. Get the right videos. 10-year, 10-year, 10-year. I have to stop putting them all in the same folder. That's my problem. Okay, November 10th. That makes sense. Perfect. So this was the last bond report. Same one we're trading today. Entry time is the unique part of this trade, 1301.30. And yeah, you can ask me why, but I'm not going to tell you. You tell me why. Why do we enter at that time? Somebody tell me why we enter at that time. Somebody who doesn't know. Somebody knew. Somebody knew. Why do you think we enter at that time? Knowing what you know about us. Maybe you don't know enough about us yet. Because years of study, years of history of this report, it's the best time, the most probable time the report's going to have a reaction over the years, because it's theoretically a 1 o'clock report. That's what the calendars say. But everybody kind of knows it's really nothing happens until 101:30. If you study the report, the event, and watch it, you'll know. And that's what we do. We study the event. So at 1301.30, my orders, those X's showed up on the screen. And you could see nothing happened until 18 seconds later. And I got filled. And you could tell it was a news move because it jerked up or down, right? In this case, it jerked down. You can tell when there's a news move or an event move. You can tell. And as you get practiced, you'll be able to recognize those moves. Now, this was pretty dull. It was pretty slow. And really, I just got out flat because it didn't move for quite a while after the trade. And then it moved. So I didn't do anything wrong. It looked like it was going to be totally dull. And it wound up giving a fair amount of ticks, but very difficult to trade because of its movement. That was not an easy one. I got out flat because it didn't really respond. Okay. I was up like $262 before the trade, and that's where I got out. And then it wound up moving about 4 ticks. And it was late as well. Okay. You know what? I take it back. Let's hold on a second. Wait a minute. Holy crow. What the? Something doesn't make sense. So November 10th. $1301.30 is our orders, right? It wasn't late, and it wasn't 60 seconds either. And it is the 10-year note. Okay. So it was a flat trade. The truth is in the video, folks. It was a flat trade because of the move. All right. Now, maybe I misinterpreted this. So I really should be fired. Okay. Small move in 60 seconds. I think that what he means is it took 60 seconds for the move to originate, but it was not canceled because the fill was before 40 seconds. So I stand to correct the report. I misinterpreted it. Okay. My mistake. So I apologize for that. I was wrong. It was not late. It was uneventful for 60 seconds. And that's kind of what threw me. Okay. Then in October, it was canceled. That means that it did take longer than 40 seconds. So let's put that to the test. What do you say? October. Canceled. Okay. See how it didn't fill 13:02:10. That's the cancel time. Cancel. All right. And then in September, if I have September, let's see. Yep. Same time, 13:01:30. Now, that was the first decent move on this report in a couple of months, in 3 months. So what does that tell you? It kind of tells you, well, don't trade huge because the report hasn't been moving huge, right? But it also has not stopped out a lot. So you can, whatever your risk tolerance is what you can do on this report. If I was going to rate the bond, and if the 3 auctions that we're currently trading regularly, my favorite is the 30-year. It tends to move the best. The 10-year is second, and the 7-year is third. And the 10-year and the 7-year, sometimes they're very, very similar in the way that they move. I'm just listening to the news because there is so much of it these days. So much news. It's unbelievable. So how do you set this trade up? Click on strategies. So the yellow line on our report is the way that I'm going to trade it. Okay. So from the top down, I don't have to change anything until I get to the word bracket. And the bracket says 2. So that's my bracket. Okay. If you want to go in order, we can do that. Activation time. Okay. That's entry time. And I didn't change that name. I think I left it the same in the new software because entry time is just as obvious as activation time. So our activation time is 13:01:30. Okay. So we're going in order. Cancel 40 seconds. We can automate the cancel if you want to. Cancel after X seconds, you would put 40 plus 40, right? Well, let's think this through. No, we put our orders on the chart at 13:01:30. 40 seconds later, you cancel. The area where it gets confusing, if you have a trade that's put on 2 seconds early, add those 2 seconds. So if you want to cancel in 10 seconds, you would say 12. In this case, because the trade is 13:01:30, exactly when the orders show up, and we're canceling exactly 40 seconds later, you can use the cancel after X seconds if you want to cancel manually. I personally prefer to cancel, automatically. I personally prefer to cancel manually because sometimes something will happen in the market. Maybe you'll know that the news is late and you won't want to cancel. I'd rather not miss an awesome trade because I automatically canceled it. If I'm not going to be at my computer, that would be different, right? So then I have a target of 2 ticks and a target of 6 ticks. So right now, because the trade, it's not killing it, I would trade one contract for 2 ticks. Look, you can trade 2 contracts for 2 ticks, one contract for 6 ticks. So I'm risking 180 roughly times. It's a stop of 3. It's $90 per contract. I'm thinking 180 if you trade 2 contracts. So it's $270 is the risk. Okay, if you get stopped out. 2 ticks, 2 positions for 2 ticks. And then my second position is 6 ticks. Okay, profit target 1, profit target 2. Position 1 is 2 ticks, position 2 is 1 tick. Okay, that's pretty straight ahead. The stop is 3 ticks, not 10. Okay. Now you can save a template. Save, and you can call it 10-year bond, 10-year note. And save it. And then the next time you come in, you can load that. You don't have to even set it up. However, you're always going to check and be very careful, right? Yes. And then I'm going to trade for real. So I put my account on. And I've told you before that I like to label the trade. I put the instrument I'm trading first, ZB, and the name of the trade. Now, you don't have to do it the way I do it. You don't have to label it if you don't want to. You don't have to trade. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. That's the beauty of it. But if you use a 30-tick stop, you're going to be stuck in a trade. So you can trust me. I'm going to try and help you to make money, not to lose. We don't always make money, but I'm going to try and give you the best advice I can. So a 2-tick bracket, 2 ticks, 2 positions for 2 ticks, 1 position for 6 ticks. My stop is 3 ticks. It's $31.25 a tick to trade the ZB. Okay. And we're going to enter at 1:01:30 p.m. Eastern time, and that is 13:01:30. And the trade type is a breakout trade. Okay. And I've got it labeled, and I'm pretty ready to go. So I'm going to record this. And then we'll check our time. So there's a couple of things I have to remember to do. Put my charts on live so I see the orders. Okay. And turn the trade on. How do you know if the trade's turned on? By clicking the enable button. The logo will show up. Okay. That's how you know the trade is on. And then we're going to check our time by going to the website time.is. We're checking our sync. We want to be in sync. And it works better than Windows sync. Okay. So time.is tells me I'm in sync. I go to the website, it tries to put me in sync. And if it succeeds, it will say your time is exact. Not everybody can go get in sync that way. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it won't work for me. And if that happens, we have other tools like Dimension 4, Atomic Clock. Just send us an email at help@10minutetrades.com and we'll send you the file. Okay. So I can lose $240 if it's a normal stop out. Don't forget, you could make more and you can lose more than you expect when you're trading events, because sometimes events move very fast and they might go further than you expect on either side. Okay? It's possible. I mean, look, you could be in a trade trading gold in the morning and there could be a tweet and it could cause gold to go wild, and the same exact thing could happen to your trade. So it's not always just events that do that. It could be a volatile market that does it. So if you use financial juice, if you use the pro version, then the data, the news is not delayed. Okay. And what's nice about financial juice is while I'm talking to you, I can hear in my headset their guy talking on the Squawk Box talking about the bond auction. So sometimes if something strange happens, I'll know because I'll hear it in the Squawk Box. JJ, have I ever tested UB? I'm watching UB right now on the right side, and I'm starting to test Ultra Bonds. JJ, if you can hear me on YouTube, let me know. But yes, I'm looking at the Ultra Bonds as well as ZB. So you know what they say, great minds think alike. I hate statements like that. I didn't say that. What do they call that? That kind of a statement? I forget. It's a what? Fred, you know, you're the smart person here with all that kind of stuff. Fred, what's that called? Like a cliche? That's not quite what I'm thinking. It's a cliche. Great minds think alike. I guess that's what it is, cliche. Fred, I don't mean to bother you while you're trading, so ignore me. I mean, I'm bugging Fred. He's just trying to make a living. I'm trying to ruin his life here. So we're watching Ultra Bonds also. Okay. And I'm keeping my charts nice and fat apart so that on the video we can see the brackets really well. Because gold this morning, it was a little bit too tight. Colloquialism. I can't even say that word. Colloquialism. That's not quite what I was thinking, Fred. Not quite what I was thinking. I thought that had something to do with foreign policy. No. So there's a little bit of pre-trade movement. pre-auction. So remember, nothing's going to happen for us until 1301.30. Okay. 1301.30. Oh, everyone's loving DoorDash. DoorDash just went public. Oops. And they screwed up my 10-year note auction. But it almost doesn't matter because the news is not that important. It's going to move or it's not anyway. But I like to put it up just in case something crazy happens. I don't expect something crazy. You notice I tend not to panic. The tick value, you know what? I don't know. Ultra bonds, I have to look it up. Who knows what the tick value for ultra bonds is? Todd, I've never traded them for real yet, so I haven't looked it up yet. We could find out after the trade. I'll show you what we can do. Our orders are coming on now. And we will take 40 seconds to cancel this trade, okay? And I will cancel it. If it goes 40 seconds and doesn't do anything, I'll cancel it. That's our rule. "40 seconds, okay? So I have to cancel, folks. I have to cancel. It's 40 seconds. That's my rule. I'll keep my cursor on where the cursor is. But our rule is there's no response. Now, maybe the news is late today. It feels that way. It feels like it's late. It was late. Did anybody stay in? Did anybody stay in? So we'll look at the video. It was more than a minute. Now, we've talked about this. And I think the bond trades will be noted that they should not. Let's look at the video. Now, ultra bonds. You want to know what the tick value on ultra bonds is? Let's see. So I'm in sim mode on ultra bonds. Look how long it's taking for it to move. It's $31.25. It's the same as ZB, okay? Same as ZB. Nice little reversal there. I wasn't expecting that. This trade, to me, doesn't move quite enough to think about it as a serious reversal trade. Ultra bonds look to move exactly the same as ZB. That's what it looks like to me. So the question is, how's the liquidity on ultra bonds? nowhere near the liquidity of ZN. And I think it's lower than ZB. Let's see. So these are the amount of orders that are there. You're barely in the hundreds. I think ZB will be in the hundreds. And it is. So much better liquidity in ZB. I would trade ZB for that reason, and especially because they're the same tick value. I'd rather trade the higher liquidity instrument. Now, if you think I'm not aggravated because the news was late and I canceled, now I've followed our report. That's my job right now. And I'll leave it at that. Does anybody have any questions? Tomorrow morning, we are scheduled for a 7:30 trade room. And it's extremely possible I'm not going to catch the first trade, that I'm going to start at 8. The trade is at 7:45. It's not a really great winning trade, and that's the reason. We have WASD tomorrow. We have the 30-year bond. Okay. Natural gas, which really got me last week, but it's been trading great. So keep an eye on your email, because your email is going to tell you what time we're starting tomorrow. I can tell you that right now, because I'm going to be the one probably sending it. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Let's look at the video. So we see, would 60 seconds have kept you waiting if for the trade, or did you have canceled? I think it was even after 60 seconds, but let's see if I'm right. So the 10-year. So you know what I think about these trades personally, folks? For all the times that I've had a stop out because I didn't cancel, there's been 10 times as many winners by not canceling. So the bond trades should not be canceled, in my opinion. So let's look and see. Would it have taken, I mean, 2 minutes? Yes. 13:01. So here, so it was more than 60 seconds by 2 seconds. 62 seconds. Okay. You had to wait 62 seconds. So this is officially a canceled trade. Officially a canceled trade. Nothing you can do about it if you follow the law. However, so remember what I said about exceptions. I think that the bond trade should be a 90-second cancel. That's what I'm going to put in for. Okay? I think it should be a 90-second cancel. I've seen too many that have done this. And did anybody, no one traded? Is anybody here? Fred, you canceled? You canceled? Okay. And the reason I'm curious, it was a pretty quick move. Watch. But I think it would have worked. I think it was a good trade. So it took 60 seconds. Watch the speed of it. It was pretty fast. But I think it would have hit your targets. And it would have been awesome. It's too bad. You think, Mark? It might have been slippage. There could have been 2 ticks of slippage. It's possible. Because it's fast, you never know 100%. You can analyze it until the day you die, and you cannot tell certainly. 100% over and above a live trade. If it went 2 ticks from entry, so we can look at our entry to verify it. Let's do that. Mark is a smart guy. If he tells me that I'm a dunce, I'll listen to him. So our software shows us if you don't cancel the trade and remove it, if you don't remove the trade. The short was 172.08. The short was 172.08. So we can see and he's absolutely right. It went to 6. You might have only gotten one contract, one tick. So it always makes sense to check. So I stand checked. Okay. So maximum of 2 tick profit, because what would have happened is you would have gotten filled at 8. And then if you did not move your stop, you would have gotten stopped out when it hit 11, 2 minutes later, right here. 3 ticks from entry. Okay. So you wouldn't have had the opportunity to go back down. You would have been taken out of the trade. So it was a small winner, not a big winner. But keep in mind, I think it would have been 2 ticks. That's what I think. 2 ticks. 2 ticks. But doesn't change the fact that we should really seriously consider our cancellation time, because we've seen it too many times. All right. So if you start seeing things over and over, you got to make adjustments. That's part of the job. Part of the job. Any questions? Anybody? All right. So I'll see everybody tomorrow morning, either 7:30 or 8 o'clock. You'll see it in your email. What instruments we trading tomorrow? KW is a lot of trades tomorrow. I'll show you. So tomorrow, if you get up at 2 in the morning, you could trade British manufacturing and industrial production if you want to. The euro, if we trade the euro rate, it's the 6E. And then at 8:30, I'm definitely trading CPI and unemployment claims. That's ES. Although it's questionable whether GC is possible. If GC hadn't been trading so poorly lately, that would be a GC. I doubt very much if I'll take the press conference trade because of news volatility, and it's so close to the 8:30 trade. But I will trade natural gas, I will trade WASD, and I will trade the 30-year bond. So we're trading ZB. I'm trading soybeans on WASD, natural gas, possible euro, and the 6E. KW. So that's everything. That's a lot trading tomorrow. A lot going on. All right, buddy. KW, it's great to have you back in the trade room. Okay. What do you think of the new software compared to GoToWebinar, KW? What do you prefer? Do you know yet? Yep, I figured it might be new. Folks, I personally prefer GoToWebinar. And there's a couple of reasons. It really has to do with recording. GoToWebinar protects all the recordings. They stay in the cloud for years. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Anyway, questions? Anybody? Questions? All right. So I'll see everybody in the morning tomorrow. All right, folks. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you later.